The cryptocurrency jumped 4.5% yesterday and is up more than 7.5% today to sit close to $23,000. It has gained more than 200% this year, having sat below $5,000 in the middle of March. Now, Bitcoin has been buoyed by demand from larger investors who have been attracted to its potential for what should be quick gains. It has also seen a resistance to inflation, with expectations that it will become a mainstream payment method. Bitcoin's rally has seen a massive flow to North America from East Asia. That has been fueled by bigger and compliance-wary U.S. investors. The rise in Bitcoin, which some investors have seen as a potential safe haven, has coincided with gold's drop in recent months. Some investors, such as hedge funds and family offices, have in the past been deterred by the opaque nature of the crypto market. Tightening oversight of the American crypto industry, though, has indeed helped soothe some of those concerns. So $20,000 US, that's the mark for Bitcoin. Having passed that yesterday, let's see where it currently sits then. We get into this market picture then as well today. $22,754 is the price of Bitcoin right now. It's gone up 7.3% there, as you can tell in that market picture. So certainly spiking quite prodigiously, more than 200% gained this year alone. A big spike then for Bitcoin. The interest perhaps beginning to grow even more. If you had been persistent with Bitcoin, perhaps now you're beginning to reap some of those benefits as well then. So we'll keep a lookout on that one. The Rand also 14 Rand 69 against the US dollar. We're 0.75% better off for the local currency. And that's some good news. The last time we were at these levels was back in January, the middle of January in fact. 14 Rand 69 is quite good. We started the year at 14 Rand against the US dollar. So do we get back to that mark? We'll find out in a second, and we'll ask our analyst about that. Against the euro, we're now under 18 Rand. We're at 17 Rand 98 against the against the euro, should I say, for that combined currency. With the British pound, well, that'll cost you a flat 20 Rand if you have one. Brent crude price has gone up 0.33%. It's at $51.23 a barrel there. We're at currently at 9-month highs for that Brent crude price. It is quite interesting to note that certainly is a very good figure, considering that for the most part we sat between $40 and $45 for much of this year, thinking perhaps that might be the stable point, but perhaps demand coming back into the market. And of course, with vaccine news, the questions are perhaps demand will begin to pick up again heading into next year. The gold price sits at $1,876 a fine ounce. It's up 0.2%. Platinum also seeing some very good demand and a green side pressure there, sitting 1.7% better off today. It's at $1,051 a fine ounce. Onto the general market picture. Well, the all share is now 1.5% better off, 60,000 points. We've surpassed that mark. We sit at 60,384 points there. The financials have gone up 0.25%, but the big gainers have been resources. They've gone up more than 3% today, 58,402 points. That's been helped by the fact that gold miners and platinum miners together have also gone up quite collectively as well, 3.5% higher for platinum mining shares there. The banking counters, the only ones unfortunately who have taken a bit of a dip, going down 0.25%, but that wasn't enough to deter the overall financials, which have certainly gone up today. In terms of stocks then, very quickly, the likes of Harmony going higher, that pushes up the gold shares, as you would have noted, nearly 3% better off there. So Harmony going up. Investec also pushing up today, more than 5.25%, more than 5% higher for Anglo Platinum, with DRD Gold also following through. In terms of negativity, well, MTN has gone down 5.1%. Big worries on that front. We'll hopefully get an investor call from MTN. Finding out then, we're seeing an audit out of Nigeria with regards to SIM registrations. And let's remember what happened there 5 years ago, the last time that Nigeria got into the audit of SIM registrations. We saw an absolutely massive bill for MTN. Will that still be the case now? Very quickly, the picture across the rest of the world then has seemingly looked positive for the most part. Only the FTSE 100 in London seemingly going down for now, and it is only just a touch lower. Let's chat then to Makwe Masilela from Makwe Fund Managers as we get a hold of this market picture. Makwe, thank you so much for the time. So interestingly enough, we've gone up now and sit at 60,394 points. So a good picture for us. the vaccine news just keeps on taking markets to record highs.
Definitely, and good day to you and to the viewers. It's more of a risk-on trade. It's back. Everything seems to be in the festive mood. I mean, whether it's commodities, whether it's our rent, so stocks as well going up. And as you said, the vaccine news managed to help the markets. Investor sentiments got to be lifted. And also, more importantly, for the fact that we see that there's some progress when it comes to the U.S. lawmakers, that they'll probably come with an additional or an extension of a COVID-19 relief. That stimulus, it's also helping, and unfortunately that gets to be negative for the US dollar. Hence maybe the rand is doing that okay. Hence the likes of the Turkish lira is also strengthening, the likes of the Russian ruble as well, which is also benefiting from better oil prices. But it's all a combination of all that, including that we still have hope that Brexit deal will be reached. And also we learned this morning that the European Union, they'll also be able to implement that 1.8 trillion euro stimulus package, because it managed to get approval from all the parliaments that needs to approve it. So everything seems to be working okay. Hence, everything seems to be on the festive mood. You include your silver, your copper, everything is going up, because now people have a better outlook, especially when it comes to 2021, that the global economic outlook should be okay, given that there's vaccine, given that there's stimulus as well.
Yeah. So the Santa rally perhaps set to go beyond the end of this year and head into next year, because it seems as though we definitely have more upside than downside heading into next year. Doesn't matter what the coronavirus does at present. It just seems we're all just relying on the vaccine.
Definitely, but remember sometime last week or so, or a week and a half, markets started to be worried about the short to medium term effects of the new record numbers that we've been seeing when it comes to the infections. And yes, we know that long term we should be okay given that there's a vaccine. But I think what now managed to help the vaccine news is the stimulus news that is coming both from the US and also that is coming from the European Union as well. So that tells you that they will continue to put money into the markets. And remember also yesterday night, the US Federal Chair, the Reserve Bank that side, the guy convinced us and confirmed that they will continue to keep interest rates at very low levels, and more importantly, they will continue to funnel the money into the financial markets. And Arabile, we know since 2007 or so, markets have been benefiting from the cheap money that has been provided by the central banks around the world, and also that continues to help liquidity. As long as there's cheap money in the markets, then that money has to find a home. And so far, people will take that money and put it mainly into risk assets, which happens to be your stocks, and also what happens to be some of the currencies like the Russian ruble, the likes of Turkish lira and the South African rand.
Yeah, speaking of the South African rand, 14 rand 70 against the US dollar. Does this risk on trade perhaps get us to below 14 rand against the US dollar?
Difficult to call, because it depends what's going to happen with liquidity. Should it happen that liquidity doesn't dry up before the end of the year, sure, we should be able to hold this kind of levels. But yeah, if something else happens with liquidity, then it will be unfortunate. And remember, we're getting into that state where markets starting to be quiet. People are going on holiday. You'll see with the JC as well, starting from next week Monday, it will just be dull and boring. And that will apply also to other markets. So it's a very difficult one to call. What we can hope for, given the oil prices which are up almost at 9 months high, we hope that the rand continues to hold at this level so that it continues to help us when it comes to the petrol price.
Okay, let's get into some equity news then. Marco, are you worried at all? MTN continues to be in the news for all the wrong reasons, unfortunately. And this time around, another inspection being made on the SIM registrations out in Nigeria. We know what happened with that 5 years ago. They got a massive, massive bill. Would you be worried as an investor at this time?
Not really. MTN get to master all these things now lately, as for the fact that the guys have ever been in trouble, what is the US, coming to lawsuits, stuff like that. But we hope this time, because the guys said apparently that they're going to be auditing all of them, they've instructed all the telecommunications company not to issue or register new SIM cards. So I don't think it's an MTN issue, but yes, knowing what MTN has done before, as you said in our intro, yes, you have to be cautious that, hey, we hope they don't get them, that they've managed to do something wrong this time around. Hence, people have to be cautious. But hey, they've tend to master, to get out of all these troubles. And you get what the guys are doing now lately, because they want to focus more into Africa, selling some of their assets. I think they understand Africa much better than other companies. And we hope, MTN, you are not wrong this time. They won't find anything, because I don't think investors can continue to be dealing with stuff like that, which will be more a question of compliance is not being great.
Yeah. Makwe, is it time to take Bitcoin a little more seriously? I mean, there are more regulations. It keeps on spiking. People take money out of the market and perhaps look for fresh avenues of income. And it seems Bitcoin is the place to be.
Yeah, you see, that's the problem that we make, because smart money has already made its money. So me and you wants to get involved when it's at high levels, then it just goes up another 5%, then it drops. It's a very difficult one to call, but I think that's the general mistake that we do as investors. The minute we start seeing something going up big time, that's when we want to get involved. And then that becomes the unfortunate part. Maybe just have 2 or 3 legs to run on. Then after, maybe it will stabilize, or maybe it will start going down. So personally, I'll wait and see. Maybe at some decent dips, then you can get involved. And I think that's a principle that applies to all the equities, that wait for some dip to get in. Don't just get involved because something has gone up. And hey, if I'm selling to you, it means I think I've made my money.
Yep, very interesting. We'll see how it fares, and we'll hopefully see where we get in, if we are at all. Thank you so much for the time. Makwe Masilela from Makwe Fund Managers joining us to unpack that market picture then this afternoon.